A deep one. You bet! Caitlin Clark!
Caitlin Clark didn't walk into Madison Square Garden as a guest. She walked in like the moment belonged to her. Surrounded by NBA legends on live national television, she didn't play it safe, didn't shrink, and didn't wait her turn. This wasn't just an NBC appearance. It was a statement. While some WNBA veterans fight for attention behind closed doors, Clark stepped into the spotlight and showed what real star presence looks like. Calm, confidence, unafraid. Millions expected a quiet debut. Instead, they got sharp insight, fearless energy, and a confidence that made NBA voices pause. So the question isn't whether Caitlin Clark belongs on this stage. It's this: is she uniting basketball or exposing a divide the sport isn't ready to face? For the night that changed everything, Caitlin Clark did not walk into Madison Square Garden like a guest. Caitlin Clark walked in as someone who knew this moment mattered. In her first few minutes on NBC's Basketball Night in America,
So it's safe to say Caitlin Clark's debut for NBA on NBC.
she was sitting next to NBA legends who had ruled this game for decades. Carmelo Anthony, Reggie Miller, big names, big voices, big history. Yet somehow the youngest person on the set became the one everyone focused on. This story did not begin that night. It started years earlier in empty gyms and late practices. Clark built her game far away from bright cameras. She became famous for long-range shots, deep confidence, and fearless style at Iowa. By the time she entered the WNBA, millions already knew her name. But television is a different test. You can't hide behind a jersey. You must speak. You must think. Yes, you must belong. On NBC, she didn't wait to be invited into the conversation. She stepped right in. Instead of sounding nervous, she sounded relaxed. Her voice did not shake. Her answers were clear. She didn't try to act older than her age. She didn't pretend to know everything. She spoke like someone who studies the game every day and enjoys it deeply. That surprised many people. Some fans thought she would be quiet. Some believed she would only smile and agree. But Clark did something else. She showed confidence without arrogance. She showed respect without fear. At one point, the discussion turned to Madison Square Garden itself. Many players talk about MSG like it's just another arena. Clark explained it differently. She talked about the feeling of warming up on that floor. She described how the noise sounds different.
Welcome to the team, Caitlin Clark. Yes.
First time at MSG for a Knicks game. So
See how the energy hits you before the game even starts. It felt like a player talking to players, not a rookie trying to impress. That's when people realized this was not just a cameo. This was a statement. Later, during a playful shooting game with Jamal Crawford, the moment became even bigger. It looked fun on the surface, but the pressure was real. Millions were watching. One bad miss could become a joke online. One awkward moment could follow her for weeks. Instead of shrinking, she leaned in. She took shots from deep range, the same kind that made her famous in college. Crawford, a three-time NBA Sixth Man of the Year, tried to match her. The difference was clear. Clark looked comfortable from distances most players don't even attempt. Her shots didn't feel lucky, and they felt normal for her. What made this moment special was not just the basket going in, it was her attitude. She joked, she smiled, she stayed calm. There was no sign of fear. She treated an NBA legend like a teammate, not like a wall she could never climb. This is where the story becomes non-linear. While Clark was playing and talking on NBC,
Caitlin Clark joining us now. Caitlin, walk us through that last play. Our jaws are wide open. Are you kidding me right now?
another story was happening in the background. Some WNBA veterans were speaking out about contracts and league issues. Their voices were loud, their words were heavy. At the same time, Clark was doing something different. She was showing the world what women's basketball can look like when confidence meets opportunity. Two paths appeared at once. One path was full of complaints and frustration. The other was full of performance and connection. Clark didn't attack anyone. She didn't criticize her own league. She didn't act like a victim. She acted like a professional who wanted the game to grow. That is why this night mattered. This was not about one show. It was about image. It was about what fans see when they turn on the TV. They saw a young player who could talk basketball with legends, shoot with confidence, and carry herself like she belonged in that room. For years, the WNBA has tried to gain more attention. Suddenly, one player brought millions of eyes with her. That made some people proud. It made others uncomfortable.
How will she go for history? There it is!
And that's where the tension began. Caitlin Clark didn't hold back. Not with her words, not with her game, not with her presence. She didn't wait for permission to shine. She stepped into a space that once felt closed and made it feel natural. That night was not just about a debut. It was about a shift. A quiet shift that said, the future of basketball media may look very different, and it may sound like Caitlin Clark. Pressure under bright lights. The bright lights of Madison Square Garden hit differently than any arena Caitlin Clark had ever played in. College gyms? Check. WNBA arenas? Check. But this was live television, national coverage, with NBA legends observing every move. Millions of viewers were tuning in from their homes. One misstep, one hesitation, could become the talk of the internet by morning. Caitlin Clark felt the weight, but she didn't show it. She had spent years preparing for moments like this, not just practicing shots, but mastering her confidence. She knew the camera would catch every blink, every smile, every pause. And yet she moved with ease. Her voice was clear. Her focus is sharp. Every question thrown her way was handled without faltering. During a playful shooting challenge with Jamal Crawford, tension mixed with laughter. Crawford, a seasoned veteran with handles that had fooled defenders for over a decade, stepped into the set thinking he could dominate. Clark had other plans. Logo three-pointers, deep step-back shots, no hesitation. Her range was undeniable. Every shot seemed natural, every movement calculated.
Talking well inside the middle of the MediaCom logo. You have a hand down when she crosses half court. Caitlin Clark has been making people pay.
It wasn't just about the game. It was about presence. The confidence she radiated under pressure made the entire room take notice. Analysts leaned in. NBA veterans smiled with genuine surprise. And viewers at home sensed something extraordinary unfolding. Clark was transforming what it means to appear on a professional stage. The pressure wasn't confined to the court. Off camera, these discussions about the WNBA's future were happening at the same time. Veteran players argued about contracts and league structure, threatening lockouts and stirring controversy. And while some of the league's most experienced voices focused on internal battles, Clark demonstrated how performance, professionalism, and poise could capture the audience's attention and respect simultaneously. The energy in MSG was electric. You could feel it even through a screen. Clark's body language showed readiness, calmness, and respect for the game she loves. Every step she took, every gesture she made, proved she was more than a guest or a commentator. She was a leader in her own right. Her approach was simple: stay focused, play her game, and communicate authentically. There were no gimmicks, no forced bravado. Fans could see her excitement, her intensity, her genuine love for basketball.
Martin looking. Here's Clark. She fires, and it goes!
Her ability to perform under pressure without showing nerves set her apart from almost every player on that floor. Clark's debut revealed a key lesson. Talent can draw attention, but composure under pressure earns respect. Millions watched not just for the game, but for how she carried herself, proving that confidence combined with skill can challenge expectations even when surrounded by the biggest names in basketball. By the end of the night, the result wasn't the scoreboard, it was the perception shift. Clark had turned a high-pressure debut into a demonstration of poise and capability. She showed that no matter the stage or the audience, preparation and self-belief could dominate the spotlight. More than a shooter, Caitlin Clark isn't just known for her long-range shots. Sure, her logo threes made her a household name in college basketball, and her deep step-back jumpers turned heads in the WNBA. But on NBC, she proved something far bigger. She understands the game at a level most players don't. When analysts asked about her favorite NBA players, she didn't give generic answers. She broke down strategies, pointed out how stars like Luka Doncic manipulate defenses, create space, and control the game, not just score. She talked about court vision, decision-making, and reading defenders. Fans watching could see it.
You bet! Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin wasn't performing a script. She was teaching, analyzing, and connecting. During a live shooting segment with Jamal Crawford, the difference between athleticism and skill became clear. Crawford, an NBA veteran, could make flashy plays, but Clark's comfort from deep range and awareness of angles made her seem untouchable. Every shot from beyond the arc was textbook. Feet set, follow-through perfect. Ball rotation flawless. Her precision was a reminder that skill combined with intelligence can surpass raw talent. Even her humor added to her credibility. She joked with NBA legends as if she'd known them for years, trading light banter without losing focus. Her personality shone through, making her approachable but commanding respect at the same time. The audience wasn't just watching a player, they were watching a complete basketball mind in action. Off the court, she continued to impress. Clark referenced NBA plays in ways that connected to her WNBA experience, showing she studies the game constantly. She wasn't name-dropping.
All-star assist record, and you mentioned on the broadcast that you and Sue were talking a little bit. Can you give us any insight as to...
She was illustrating lessons she applies every day. Viewers began to realize that Caitlin's impact isn't limited to scoring. It's in understanding the game, predicting plays, and thinking 10 steps ahead. The contrast was striking. While some WNBA veterans were negotiating contracts, issuing ultimatums, or publicly expressing frustration, Clark was proving that influence comes from action and knowledge, not complaints or threats. She was demonstrating that the growth of women's basketball is tied to visibility, skill, and connecting with fans, not just fighting internal battles. Fans and NBA legends alike noticed. Conversations that night revolved around her perspective, her analysis, and her poise. Even onlookers who doubted her ability to hold her own against seasoned professionals couldn't ignore her intelligence and presence. So she became more than a shooter. She became a bridge between two worlds, a new kind of basketball ambassador. By the end of the NBC segment, it was obvious. Caitlin Clark's skill set extended beyond scoring. She could read a play, analyze opponents, and communicate effectively. Her impact wasn't just in the points she could make, but in the respect she earned through preparation, understanding, and authenticity. Clark showed that being more than a shooter isn't just a slogan, it's a mindset. And that mindset is what separates players who are remembered from those who are forgotten. She wasn't just performing a debut, she was setting a standard. Why some felt threatened, while Caitlin Clark was dazzling fans and NBA legends at Madison Square Garden, not everyone was thrilled.
I give him credit as well. I think it's really good for our fans that might not have a chance to go see us play in the WNBA.
Some of the older WNBA veterans, who had spent years controlling the narrative, suddenly felt uneasy. Her NBC debut wasn't just a performance, it was a statement. And statements like that can make people uncomfortable. Clark wasn't loud or aggressive. She didn't attack anyone. She didn't make threats. But her confidence, skill, and ability to connect with millions of viewers highlighted a truth that some wanted to ignore. She is changing the game. The contrast was stark. While Clark was proving her value on live television, certain veterans were publicly debating contracts, revenue splits, and even threatening lockouts. It was a reminder that influence comes from results, not arguments. Fans watching saw a young player outshining expectations. Veterans saw someone new challenging the status quo. It wasn't persona, well, it was the natural reaction to a shift in power. Clark was earning attention, sponsorships, and respect, all by doing what she does best, playing and analyzing basketball with intelligence and authenticity. The jealousy wasn't subtle. Discussions about her appearances, her ability to draw viewers, and her rising influence began to circulate. Social media amplified every comment and action. Suddenly, a WNBA player's debut wasn't just entertainment, it was a mirror reflecting the league's gaps. Some players who had relied on tradition and seniority were suddenly forced to compete with a younger, more adaptable star. Even on the NBC set, the difference in energy was clear.
This is a different role for you, but what's been your focus coaching over there on the sideline for Team Clark?
Clark could discuss strategy, analyze NBA plays, and joke naturally with legends. Meanwhile, conversations about league negotiations revealed frustration, impatience, and fear of being overshadowed. Clark's calm presence and ability to perform under pressure highlighted their discomfort. This tension isn't new in sports. Every era sees players who challenge expectations, who bring fresh energy and ideas. But Clark's debut made the stakes impossible to ignore. She didn't just score points or make shots, she scored attention, credibility, and admiration. And for those who had spent years protecting their influence, it felt threatening. Yet the story isn't about conflict, it's about contrast. Clark represents growth, connection, and opportunity. The others, by focusing on complaints and internal battles, risked being left behind. Fans instinctively sided with action over argument, with skill over frustration. And that's why this debut was more than a game or a broadcast. It was a turning point. Caitlin Clark didn't need to fight. She didn't need to prove she was better than anyone else. Her presence, confidence, and clarity of purpose did it for her. And in doing so, she revealed an uncomfortable truth for some veterans. The future belongs to those willing to adapt, perform, and connect, not just those who hold tradition close. A new face of basketball. Caitlin Clark isn't just making headlines for her NBC debut. She's becoming a symbol of change for the entire basketball world. From her days at Iowa to her rookie WNBA season.
When you think Iowa and sports, but Scooby, in recent memory, it's all about Iowa basketball and Caitlin Clark.
Clark has always stood out, but stepping into Madison Square Garden with NBA legends, she transformed from a college star into a figure who represents the future of the sport. Her approach was simple but powerful. Play with skill, speak with clarity, and show passion. She didn't rely on hype or drama. Her talent and confidence were enough. As she analyzed NBA plays and compared them to her own game, viewers realized they weren't just watching a WNBA player. They were watching someone who could bridge the gap between men's and women's basketball effortlessly. The impact of her presence goes beyond individual skill. NBC audiences, many of whom had never followed women's basketball closely, tuned in to watch her.
Here comes Clark. How will she go for history?
This is what makes Caitlin Clark a megastar.
Her poise, humor, and intelligence made her relatable and engaging. For the first time, fans could see that women's basketball isn't just competitive, it's strategic, entertaining, and full of personalities who can hold their own on any stage. Clark's influence also reaches social media. Clips from her debut spread rapidly, showing not just her shooting skills, but her interactions with NBA veterans. Fans shared highlights of her analysis, her jokes, and her confidence. And the buzz wasn't limited to her WNBA team or even her college career. It became a national conversation.
A history-making day in college basketball. Iowa's Caitlin Clark became the leading scorer.
She drew attention to the league in a way that hadn't been seen before, reminding everyone why visibility matters. Sponsors and brands noticed too. Nike, Gatorade, and other corporate partners saw her as more than a player. They saw a face that could bring attention, credibility, and energy to women's basketball. Her endorsements aren't just a personal win. They benefit the entire league by increasing the spotlight.
Knocks it in. And in preparations for this game.
And encouraging investment in the sport. Clark's debut also highlighted a new standard for athletes in the modern era. It's no longer enough to excel only on the court. The ability to communicate, educate, and engage audiences is equally important. Clark's intelligence, basketball IQ, and media presence set her apart from her peers. She shows that success isn't just measured in points or stats. It's measured by influence, impact, and the ability to inspire others. Fans quickly understood the contrast. While some veterans struggled to maintain control, Clark earned loyalty through authenticity and performance. She didn't push agendas or issue ultimatums. She played, she analyzed, and she connected. Her approach reminded fans that basketball thrives when talent and personality come together. Madison Square Garden was more than a debut, it was a statement. Clark stepped into a room full of history and legends and held her own. She proved that a young player from Iowa could not only compete with the best, but also reshape how audiences view women's basketball. Her performance wasn't just memorable.
Hey, Caitlin, you know how proud all of us are of you and what you've done on the court.
It was transformative. The future looks bright for Clark in the league. Her combination of skill, charisma, and professionalism sets a new precedent. She is no longer just a rising star. She is a trailblazer who is showing the world what women's basketball can be. Every game, every interview, and every appearance becomes an opportunity to grow the sport, engage new fans, and inspire young athletes everywhere. Caitlin Clark's NBC debut was more than just a game or a broadcast. It was a statement. She showed the world that skill, intelligence, and confidence can shine brighter than experience alone. Millions of fans witnessed a player who not only dominates the court, but also commands respect, connects with audiences, and elevates the entire sport. The WNBA now has a new face, someone who bridges the gap between women's basketball and the NBA, someone whose influence extends far beyond points scored. While some may resist change, Caitlin's debut proved that growth comes from talent, preparation, and authenticity. She's inspiring the next generation of players and showing everyone what modern basketball leadership looks like. Stay tuned, because this is just the beginning. Caitlin Clark is rewriting the rules, and you don't want to miss what happens next. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe to catch every moment of her journey.